All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Uh,
Uh-oh.
oh, good morning, everyone. I think we're having some technical issues with Amalia. Amalia is actually back from Argentina, and we're glad to have her back in Toronto. And we're glad to be here today, March the 8th. Spring is around the corner. I've been speaking to some ICs on the West Coast and southern U.S. and here up in Canada, we're still experiencing a little bit of winter weather, but spring is in the air. Everybody gets happier in spring. I think people are smiling more when you're walking in the street. So we're glad that we're here. Again, I have here Michelle and Amalia, and wanted to say hello to everybody, not just in North America, but all over the world that's joining us. And yes, we do wish we could transfer our offices to sunny place Miami. I know Michelle and Amalia would love it. Yeah. So excellent. For the past few weeks, I've been saying about me bringing in a special speaker, and I tell you that I've been trying for so hard to bring in a guest speaker from our team to join us. And the last participant that I had scheduled for today was Chris Ballin, to a point where I will no longer say anything. Chris got really sick on Saturday because of the change of weather up here in Toronto, and he lost all his voice. So this morning he told me, "Look, Armando, I would love to join you, but it's just that I have no voice." For sure he'll be here next week Tuesday, and he'll be touching base on a very specific topic on SEO. I'll preview you towards the end of the call. But anyways, let's get started. Lots to share today. Lots to share with everyone. Specifically, a couple of things coming up from Google, a couple of tests here and there. I want to touch base with you in regards to the recent changes that Google has done in the desktop search results pages. Removing the right hand column, it kind of created a buzz in the industry. So I actually named this topic Google Talks. So we do have somebody from Google that has shared some of their feedback. So we'll get started. And again, I have here Amalia and Michelle. So let's begin with Amalia.
Yes, sorry about that. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties, so I apologize. And I just want to say good morning to everyone. In regards to basically the article I want to share, it's basically Google would like basically all of us to know that we can buy products using voice search now. Basically, this is Google's next frontier in the conversational shopping, and you can basically buy products online now by just voice search. So at one of the SMX West, I guess one of the conferences last week, it was officially announced that Google is working on the conversational search. And basically, the conversational search will allow users to buy or locate products by just using and talking into their devices. They did use an example in which you could find a product that you're looking for, but even just by, you could basically looking at it for a lower price or even finding nearby stores. So they have provided options as to how you can find the products that you want. But what also is making the purchase for the products directly from the voice search is basically they're saying, for example, you could say, okay, Google, find me a solid state external hard drive. Basically, Google will now show you a couple results, and you can purchase, let's say, for one from Best Buy, and then you could actually search it by delivery as well, or by cost, or by location. So they're giving options now with the conversational shopping, which is great. So this is something we want to share, and I thought it was really interesting. Armando, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, definitely. This is something that we should all keep an eye on, specifically seeing some opportunities where this will apply to some of your clients potentially in the very, very near future. Where now, with the power of voice search, uh, uh, we're able to make purchases online without the click of a button. So definitely, I'm actually making a note of this because I did see this, actually read a little bit on it, but didn't really dig into it. A lot of questions arise in regards to what will happen now with search functionalities and obviously voice search, and how do we begin, optimizing websites and content for voice search. So something that's a topic of discussion that we will be touching base in the next few weeks. It just happens that this function or feature is now being made available. So we will keep an eye on it and keep you bring some updates but definitely just continues to change the landscape in regards to moving away from standard search to now voice search, specifically when we're targeting, when we're looking at a very very important demographic for companies such as the millennials, right? Which for them everything is primarily using voice search, and now voice shopping, if you will. And the key thing that Google has developed is what they're working on, conversational shopping. So interesting, very interesting, and we'll definitely keep you up to date to what's happening. Now, just to note on this, this was I think this was done. This was part of a panel or a presentation at SMX West, right, Amalia, which just happened last week. I do encourage you to definitely, if you have some time this week, just do a search on SMX West 2016 panelists or presentations. There's some great, specifically on SlideShare. There's some great presentations that were done. I have one that I will share with you today that I thought was pretty interesting. But if you do have the opportunity to kind of go back and just do some searches on SMX, it's really probably one of the biggest search marketing, I would say, trade shows in North America. So definitely they have SMX West and SMX East. So I know there's the next one that's coming up for June, and we often have ICs that go to SMX and bring us some valuable feedback. But yeah, that's a second point that I wanted to make, that if you do have the opportunity to kind of do a bit of search and read, there's some great things that are happening. Excellent. Thank you, Amalia. And then I think you have another one in regards to some of the tests that Google is running.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Yes, that is correct. So basically, Google is now testing clickable phone numbers in organic search results. So this is something new. They're basically experimenting with the click-to-call on the organic side. They've basically done these ads and on local before, but right now they're 100% testing and displaying the clickable phone numbers and organic search results on mobile. We've seen some of the click-to-call on AdWords side for several years, but never on the organic side. And if you refer to the little image there that we provided in the blue inks, this was first spotted and by R.Y.S. Chill. It's one of the individuals. Anyways, I shared this picture with you guys, and basically this will show you how you can click on this. And Google has allowed searchers to click on the phone numbers to dial the business from the ad side and the local listing side, but we've basically never seen it at the organic side. And basically they're experimenting this, and hopefully that's going to go through. Armando, did you want to add to this as well?
Yeah, I think that just when you think that, okay, with the recent Google changes that are, many SEOs and SEM experts thought that, okay, AdWords is, again, or get the less of importance on organic search because of the changes that Google did to the desktop changes on the right-hand column, and allocating 4 spaces at the top of the page for text ads, etc., and pushing down organic. Here's a nice little change, where it's primarily, from my understanding, based on these screenshots and some of the data that's been shared with us, it's primarily happening on the mobile. And for many, for a few years now, we've seen, the ability to click on these links and call, or I don't want to use the word click to call because it's a different term, but we usually see these, these available links or icons with the telephone number on the ads, on Google AdWords, right? But now they're happening on organic. So let's see what happens, right? Primarily, it's happening on mobile. For example, here was the keyword plumber San Antonio, and this was just a general keyword that was typing as AC repair, and there were 2 searches. So keep an eye on that. Again, this is happening on the organic side, organic results. So I think that that's a great thing that Google is testing out, a great feature. And However, one of the things that's still unknown, and I was trying to look for this, is where are they grabbing the telephone number from? Is it from Google, from the my Google My Business? So, I don't want to say too much about it because I wasn't able to get more answers on this. But they are pulling the information from somewhere and displaying the telephone number. Okay, and interestingly enough, the two examples are a little bit different because if you notice, one of them is mobile friendly site, right? So a mobile friendly site displays the telephone number, and then a non-mobile friendly site, because it doesn't have the mobile friendly notification, is also showing it. So we'll keep an eye on this, and interestingly enough, it's only showing in the second results, not on the first one. You would think that it would be at the top, but in these cases, they're showing up on the second. So I mean, again, it's still a test. It's still a test that has to happen. So please, again, it's a test that Google is doing. They haven't given us any instructions on how we're gonna do it. How do we code that telephone number? So I've made a note to myself to kind of keep an eye on this and bring you updates in the next few weeks, because it's in Google's radar right now. It's not even privy to us, let's say, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be sharing with us some secrets or the tips, or the recommended way of displaying the telephone number. We'll keep you posted. Okay, thank you, Amalia. So yeah, I know I'm getting a few questions on on this, but we'll definitely keep you posted. Okay, yeah, yeah. There's a question here in regards to, if you look at this AC repair, number one has no telephone number, number two does, and it's at the bottom. You see it has a little tab, and it actually has a little arrow indicating an action that you can click on it, and that will actually do the click to call, if you will. And then if you look at this third one, this is embedded into the meta content, the description tag, right? So here's your title tag and description tag. So that's why you cannot click on this one, but you can click on this one because it has that function and feature. So interestingly enough, you still have websites that are still trying to optimize for one, two, three, four keywords and a geo target in one for one page. Anyhow, that's another observation for another day. But yep, that's how it works. So we'll keep you posted as to how you can optimize your organic results. Okay, excellent. There's another test that Google's experimenting, and the team at Search Engine Land calls these the local business cards in search results. And I want to be uh, very careful that that's not the name of it. That's what they've coined it right now. It's not Google that coined that. Basically, Google's just testing a feature that allows local businesses to promote specific content, and it's actually shared directly from the card carousel. And I'm going to share some examples. But just for the purpose and intents of this article, they called it the local business cards. It's a pure experiment. They're only involving a few dozen local businesses. It's all custom content and not being drawn from Google My Business or any other feeds. So right now it's still under testing mode, and I'm going to show that to you. And the other key thing about it is that it's the first time that Google has introduced or allowed animation GIFs on the search results pages. And one of the key things that was very key in this article was that the format was created with mobile users in mind. Okay, but it not only are these local business cards, quote unquote, or being shared in the card carousel, are displaying on mobile, but it equally displays in desktop results as well. Okay, and right now these are appearing adjacent to the knowledge featuring that business. So I'm going to share some of these examples as well. And I know that you probably saw these car carousels in the recent U.S. election. They're kind of showing a lot of these candidates and information on candidates. So let me just share with you. If you just give me a quick Okay, so in this for this specific example, it's for the keyword a healthy choice spa, which is one of the businesses that was actually chosen for this test. And as you can see, here are these Google cards that are showing, right? There's one, two, three. You can actually there's additional URLs that are showing, and basically in the desktop they're showing right below the URL of the specific business. So I think there was one or two other examples that they're showing, but if you look at this specific example, it has give animated GIFs. So um, something to keep in mind. I think that it does definitely bring a different flavor to the search and result pages, because primarily they're all static, and now this one's showing some animated GIFs. We'll see how it goes because it's still a test. So we'll keep you also posted on any developments. But for now, it's only a test. It's not drawing information from my Google business. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of an API or an interface that's providing this information, but they haven't shared anything with us on this at this stage. Okay, but I think it's still important for you to know what's going on in with these different Google tests that are happening. Okay. Again, in this one that I kind of wanted to show a second example is for Escape Pod Comics, and again, it's showing these carousel cards providing information to you. So these are tests that Google's still experimenting. That are in this case scenario, they're working both for the mobile version of a website, as well as in the desktop results. So you'll be able to see that. Excellent. Hey, so enough about Google for a little while. Let's talk about Bing. So Bing has actually rolled out a new update. Okay, and it's a new update that actually allows for Bing native ads to extend the reach of search ads to MSN.com. I do have also a few screenshots to share, and this update specifically was for Bing Ads Editor. So any of the ICs that are out there that are very active on paid search and are managing their own Bing accounts, Bing paid search accounts, this is something that you want to take a look at. Primarily, this is being rolled out today in the US, but I'm pretty sure that in the next few weeks or in the next few months, it will be rolled out worldwide. But at the moment, it's only being rolled out in the US. And one of the key aspects of this update, it's really also the editing support for native ad bidding. Okay, so it's not just Bing search ads expanding to content on MSN.com, but also having that level of support in very very user-friendly way, where if as a marketer you can and you are on the Bing interface, ad interface, you can actually just access it and be able to make changes. So I'm going to show some examples in the next slide, and I'll come back to this one if you just give me a quick second. So if you are logged into your Bing ads, under ad groups, you can actually choose the percentage of time that you want these native ads being shown, and it's right now, for example, in the MSN network, you can actually see, for example, in this case, at the bottom here, this is an article on just a few self-driving cars on the highway, for example, and there's a recommended for you ad. So it's actually these ads are actually being shown within the content, right? Here's another example on MSN Travel, right? On the travel section. So here's again a specific content piece, and within the content piece there is a specific ad, in this case for Blue Yonder Airlines. So it's a very positive thing. I don't think it's, I mean, from a marketer's perspective, I think that from a user, may be annoying to some users or readers, but it definitely Bing has started to roll this out to their network. Oops, I want to go back here. And you can actually, through the Bing interface, Bing Ads Editor, you can actually decide how, the range that you want to opt in or opt out to these types of ads. And as they mentioned, sometimes they'll say recommended for you and or sponsored. So as a reader, you can actually tell that this is an ad, but it's very subtle into the content. Now, these is part of Bing's efforts to deliver greater scale for Bing ads advertisers, and other avenues include syndication deals with AOL, the Wall Street Journal, and other sites. So as you can see, again, something that we've always discussed in this webinar is if you're doing Google AdWords and are looking at another way of experimenting any type of paid search, hey, try out Bing, right? Give it a try. Because they're also expanding their network. They're also expanding ways of reaching out to their to different target audiences. So definitely always keep Bing in your marketing mix, right? Obviously, you may want to keep Google as your primary, but in some case scenarios, Bing is actually more effective than Google AdWords. So do not discard Bing ads as part of your marketing mix. Okay, excellent. Um, so I wanted to share this specific article that was on Search Engine Land, as a matter of fact, and it talks about Google's take on the recent changes. And the reason I wanted to discuss this and wanted to share it with everyone is because of the fact that it was actually written by a columnist and Googler Matt Lawson. So this is the voice from Google, right? So after the changes that did happen on the desktop search engine results pages, removing the right-hand column, etc. There was a lot of questions, a lot of different opinions, assumptions made in the industry in regards to the future of search engine result pages, the future of organic search results, the future of SEO, the future of paid search or Google AdWords per se, at least, what was going to happen. So the columnist talks a little bit about, why they did this and, why was this update made. And so it's Google's voice, if you will. I don't know if it's an official voice. I would imagine it is, because he actually published it. Once the change did happen, of last week, or about last week, or a weekend, almost a weekend, a few days ago, Google did not come out and put a specific notification. All they did was they just confirmed that the update was done. So Matt Lawson actually takes us on a few reasons why they've done it. Where's the reasoning behind it, as well as some recommendations that I want to share with you. Okay, so one of the key things that he talks about is that ultimately the main reason this was done was to improve user experience on Google search and to make that experience consistent across desktop, tablet, and mobile. So if you have questions from your clients in regards to this, because I know we got a lot of questions from the network and their clients, and also from our retail side, you can definitely tell them that this was done in the hopes of improving user experience on Google search. The second reason is the majority of our searches happen on mobiles, right? So not only does Google come out and say last year that Google mobile search did actually indeed overtake desktop searches, right? So now that they're focusing primarily on mobile experience, you don't have right hand side ads. So that was one thing. And over time, we found that text ads on the right rail were simply less useful than we've hoped. Okay, that's another comment that they make. I'm not sure how realistic that is, because in speaking with our team, they do recognize that perhaps it wasn't the most let's say the most useful per se, or the one that got the most clicks, but nevertheless it was just it was ad space, right? It was a way to target users, although by now many users that are doing searches on Google are very educated and they totally ignore the right hand column, right? User behavior. But here Google confirms through Matt that the right rail was simply less useful. So what does that mean? Users didn't click on them as much as other ads, and when users don't click on things, we take that to mean that something wasn't what they were looking for. By showing fewer ads, our search experience matches how people actually engage with Google. And because ads above the results are generally more useful, right, the top four, we're expanding them for highly commercial queries. Interestingly, as an aside, PLAs demonstrate stronger user interaction when they're on the right-hand side, so they're staying put. So this is why through those updates, the PLAs did still remain where they are placed, because people are clicking on it. So that won't change for now. Okay, and our experience on mobile as well as extensive testing on desktop led us to the conclusion that this change would benefit our consumers who increasingly search across devices. So again, due to behavior, right? And the fact that right rail wasn't getting clicks, the text ads, right? So that's what's Google's feedback or Google's point of view in regards to the changes. Um, so one of the key things that Google likes to kind of talk about is, okay, here's the data to back that up. Okay, so far, and again, I want to take this very lightly in the sense that this change hasn't been even active for a full 2 weeks. So it's still the data that shows is very minimal. Well, only time will tell. But so far, in aggregate, this change is neutral for small advertisers. One of the concerns that were expressed that it was totally going to be very, very negative impact on small advertisers. Why? Because if you reduce, a reduction in ad slots means that smaller companies are priced out of what's left, because obviously AdWords is a bidding system, right? An auction system, right? So it's going to be more competition for those top four places on the left-hand side, and they were going to get, pretty much priced out. So we worry about exactly the same thing, which is why we tested this change so extensively before rolling it out. And the good news is, since the launch of the new layout, small advertisers as a whole haven't seen much of a change in clicks. I do have some feedback from our ALM team, our Google, our paid search team, who are focusing on managing the campaigns, PPC campaigns, specifically for Google AdWords. And they did confirm that. They said that, you know what, uh, uh, so far the changes haven't affected the campaigns that we're running. Okay, there has been some bid adjustments, and I'll talk a little bit in a second. But overall, through our campaigns so far in the past 2 weeks, there hasn't been any changes. As a matter of fact, a few of the campaigns are actually performing better. They've seen some more conversions in some of them, because now we have a fourth ad, and I guess this was because it was more on some competitive keywords that we're targeting in the US, right? So that was one. The other feedback that we did get was that we do have a few campaigns internally where if they're highly competitive keywords, we had to just change our bid adjustment to focus on our keyword strategy for bidding, because we were losing out money on these competitive keywords, right? So primarily these right now there's really no we haven't nailed down just any industries, because it happened across some consulting companies that we're working that we're doing AdWords, business consulting, corporate consulting, as well as weddings, wedding planners, etc. So again, just some observations that the ALM team have noticed, but overall, it has been very neutral, right? The other second observation that Matt mentions is that according to Google, there's no way to guarantee how people will react to this change, but based on their experiments and the early returns from this launch, we have been no there have been no appreciable changes to cost per click in aggregate. Okay, so the change isn't really disrupting auction behavior. From our perspective, we've only seen it in competitive scenarios that we've been involved in, but it hasn't been a big drastic change. Like I said, I was speaking with the team, and that's the type of feedback that they gave me. Is other than those 2 to 3 industries that we saw competition and keyword cost per click and bidding skyrocket a little bit, everything else is business as usual. Okay, so it does confirm what Matt is explaining. So, what are some of Matt's recommendations? So, if you are managing your own paid search campaigns at this stage, you are very adamant about doing that, and you enjoy doing that. Here are a few tidbits of some recommendations, best business practices. Number one, obviously, it's a known. Continue to monitor your reporting. So, keep an eye on your campaigns. And the key thing is in comparing a period of time since this change took an effect to a similar period in early February or before. So do those type of performance reporting and looking at different patterns. And the percent of clicks or conversions that you get from those right rail ads should be small. In general, you can expect the most significant decrease in your impressions metric. So if there's anything that you will see in the reporting, will be just obviously, decrease in impression metrics. However, the percent of clicks or conversions, should be very small. Okay, if you see something aside from CTR going up and impressions going down in those segments, you want to do some diagnostic work and try to understand what might be causing your account to behave against expectations. So definitely the key thing is to keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on your bids. What's the second one? Keep an eye on your budgets. And one of the key things that some paid search managers or even business owners who were managing their paid search campaigns, the first thing they did was obviously a little bit of a reaction is right away they increased their bids and budgets. Not necessarily is what Matt recommends at this stage. Do not overreact. You don't need to definitely go out there and start increasing your bids and starting to increase your budgets. Just keep an average on your average position. You want to be able to uh, 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 look at segmented, by top versus other. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are really looking at your performance overall, keeping an eye on it. And again, in some areas you may have to bump it up. We've made some adjustments from our perspective with some of the campaigns that we did experience it, but it shouldn't be to a level where a campaign is gonna really take a whole 180 turn or really start underperforming. It's just a matter of adjusting to these changes. Okay. The other key thing that he mentions that's very interesting that till this day I still see many business owners as well as AdWords specialists or campaign managers, if you will, that they don't enable all extensions or at least the extensions that make sense, right? So what he's talking about is that, A, these top ads are eligible to show more extensions. So as a result, make sure that if it's a helpful extension, add it, right? So make sure you're using your site links, right? Make sure that your campaigns have the appropriate extensions to use to get the best out of the best bang for your buck, right? So one of the key things that he talks about is the importance of site links, and with additional detail are still eligible to show when you're the only ad above results, which is often the case on things like brand terms, right? So keep an eye on your brand terms and make sure that you do have your site links activated in order to obviously have a better breadth in displaying your ad, right? Or at least your brands, right? So again, if you're managing these campaigns, make sure that you have enabled if you don't have them all because all the extensions don't really matter to your campaign, at least make sure you have some of them. And I would definitely recommend site links. Number four, obviously he talks about, continue to focus on writing great ads. The recent change shouldn't definitely affect ad quality measurements, but again, it's a rule of thumb. Always continue improving your ads, right? You want to make sure that as you're seeing in the next few weeks changes in your campaign, revisit your ads as well. Maybe your ads need to be a little bit sharper. Again, it's all about fine tuning. And number five is refine your AdWords targeting if increased competition becomes an issue. Okay, so this is in the situation where definitely there has been an increased competition as a result of the right rail changes, right? If you're experiencing this, you may want to then, as opposed to starting a bidding war or auction bidding war, you may want to just reposition yourself, understand what's happening, and as opposed to just try to outbid the competition, try to refine your AdWords targeting, right? So again, what Google is, or at least Matt, it's indicating here, is really considering focusing your efforts on higher value customers by using features like remarketing lists for search ads or customer match. Okay, which again, whenever we're doing from at ALM, we have what we call PPC check audits or PPC health audits. We always see that when we're getting under the hood of an existing paid search campaign, we always see that clients or prospects, they don't have their remarketing lists properly created or set up, or even taking advantage of customer match. So again, if you're managing these campaigns yourself or your team is managing them in-house, just again, word of advice, make sure that they're doing this. Okay, so in reality, what this does is just change the behavior as marketers. How we're going to fine tune our strategy, if you will. Okay, so those are things that he recommends. Okay, and if you do have some feedback from your clients and they may be panicking about this whole change, well, you know what, you can always refer them to that specific ad by Matt. Okay. Excellent. The next thing that I wanted to kind of share with you is something that was shared by Tony Ver, who's an SEO specialist. He actually is a CEO of an SEO agency, and he actually was also at SMX and SMX West per se, to be exact. And he talks about using search science for keyword research. I always get this question from ICs in regards to what are the best tools to use for keyword research, and Tony kind of takes us back to four key. I think it's about 3 or 4 key tools that we should be using in our keyword research. Okay, and how that can help us. Right. So number one, he talks about Google Trends, a very underused tool. Okay. It's been out there for many years. It's been out there, and people aren't really using it. But it definitely, if you're using Google Trends, it can be very helpful in showing you where a keyword or industry has been and where it's going. So definitely you should use Google Trends as part of your keyword research set of tools and as part of your keyword research overall. Specifically, he recommends that you use Google Trends if you're looking at consumer search trends change and terminology changes. Okay, if you're going to use Google Trends, be sure to look not only at specific terms, but also at the categories surrounding the term, as top-level trends can provide important insights. So remember, you want to be able to, for example, and this is just an example that I can give. If you are looking for, let's say, you're doing some keyword research for a law firm, right? And they focus on civil law or criminal law. Do search for those exact terms, but also search for law or legal. Search for overall terminology as well. Okay, not just the specific terms or the categories. Or if you're doing, or maybe in this case, civil law or criminal lawyer, criminal law, for example, becomes the category term, and criminal lawyer becomes the exact specific term. You want to make sure that you're going above one level above the specific term. Okay. In addition, he does recommend that you look at popular topics. Take a look at what's happening surrounding a category to understand how consumers are talking about the category. He also talks about top queries because they can show you what other terms are popular within the category. So you want to look at that, right? There could be some golden nuggets there as well as he recommends looking at geographic data. See where consumers are searching these terms. This can help you see where buyers are and where you may need to focus, as well as where you may not need to focus. Okay, so again, these are things that Google Trends does provide you. Okay, and again, I totally agree with him. It's a very underused tool. I like to use it myself whenever I'm looking at, I'm doing a proposal, or I'm going to be working with an IC on a proposal, and I'm looking at specific top level industry information, and we want to showcase that. it's definitely good also for keyword research as well. The most commonly used Google Keyword Planner. Definitely, when you think of keyword research, everybody thinks about the Google's Keyword Planner within AdWords. It's a very useful tool. It has so much flexibility. One of the key things that Tony recommends here is in your keyword research, if you're going to use Google Keyword Planner, make sure that you concentrate on one product service at a time. And I know that that can be a little bit painful because, let's say you're looking at 10 or 15 terms, you just want to plug it in into the tool and let the let the tool do all the work right away. But you know what? He recommends that that you do concentrate on one product service at a time. You will have duplicate results, of terms that interlap within the specific keywords that you're looking for. But one of the drawbacks specifically with the Google Keyword Planner is that you only get 800 terms at a time. So if you're putting in multiple keywords and categories, you're going to miss out on potential terms. Okay, a little bit of a best business practice here, right? I don't think you need 800 terms to have a fine-tuned Google Keyword Planner. But if you really want to take a deep dive, concentrate on one product service at a time. Okay. The other recommendation is once you've gone through all your categories and top head terms, bucket them to see how consumers are searching. Okay. While you're going to end up with thousands and thousands of keywords, don't get overwhelmed. The goal here is to look for patterns and identify search trends. So very key here. Sometimes when you're doing keyword research on Google Keyword Planner, you have to understand that Google Keyword Planner is just one of the tools that you should be using. Okay, don't just decide, because Google Keyword Planner tells you, okay, you know what, there's 250 searches per month on this keyword. I'm automatically going to choose it, add it to my list, right? Use it, try to find patterns and identify search trends. So your fine-tuned keyword research should be pretty much a culmination, a full summary of all the different tools that you're using. Okay, uh, don't take the easy way out and just use Google Keyword Planner as the only tool, right? Like they say, you want to look for patterns and identify search trends, right? I know this is why sometimes when I've been asked to do some keyword research, it's not my favorite thing to do because it is a science, right? And it does require time, it requires patience. But these are some tips that you can use. Even after, let's say you're working with a supplier and they're giving you some of the keyword tools, hey, put it this way, the coordinator that's doing the keyword research, he's also a human, so he can make mistakes. So it's always good that you also try to do some checks and balances from your side to make sure that you're on the right path, right? Another key tool that I found that he mentions that I never thought about, I mean, obviously, Google predictive search is always there, right? If you type in on the search tool on Google, and it kind of gives you some of the keywords that are also related to that. So that's very important. However, he talks about Amazon's predictive search, and I never thought about that. And this is important because obviously Amazon being such a useful website, actually they've come up with their own predictive search, and it can actually give you some information, right? And if you are actually looking at, for example, in this screenshot that I show, some suggestions that they have actually talks about bathroom, so you have bathroom accessories, but you can also have bathroom accessories in home and kitchen, or in all departments, or in warehouse deals. So you can see that this predictive search is based on how people search for things, their behavior. So Tony says, look, use predictive search, the tool, whether it's on Google and Amazon, as the doorway to understanding what unbranded terms trigger purchases. With people spending so much time doing online research before making a purchase, research and discovery terms are now the terms that portend a purchase. So again, you want to make sure that you take that into consideration. Interestingly enough, he also showed how using Amazon suggested searches can help you get an even better picture of product and brand searches. So, hey, if you haven't ever used Amazon's predictive search to get some keyword research, maybe you should consider that, because so many people go to Amazon to make purchases already, right? People typically go to Amazon already to make a purchase, or are making or going through that research process. So already there's that intent to purchase, right? So don't discard it. I know that Google's predictive search is also good, but you know what? Here's another layer. Here's another tool. Use the Amazon predictive search tool. The other thing that he talks about, very important, using the data to create a long-term digital strategy. This is very key as well. I think that when you're doing keyword research, don't just think of SEO, okay? Don't just think about, let's say, keyword research for paid search. You have to look at long-term overall digital strategy, right? And you want to make sure that the keywords that you're using for SEO can be also used for paid search, can be also used for social, your social strategy per se, right? So again, his recommendation is that keyword research should play a role in your entire digital marketing strategy. You don't want to have just a set for SEO, a set of keywords for SEO, a set of keywords for paid search, and a set of keywords for your social media. You want to have a blend of these things. So again, when you're doing keyword research, his recommendation as an expert, you want to be able to look at the long-term digital strategy. So again, as you're thinking about site architecture, content, semantic targeting, paid search, and more, go back and take a look at how people are searching throughout their journey. So keep that in mind. By identifying their needs, you can ensure you have the information they need where they need it. So I think that Tony makes a very, very interesting recommendation here, and I think that whether you are already getting some preliminary keyword research done by, let's say, a supplier like ALM or like any of the suppliers in the network or by your in-house team, yep, no problem. Take that and maybe use some of these tactics to do some checks and balances to make sure that you're on the right path, right? Like a different set of eyes. Take the time. Obviously, if you want to dig deep and use it, do it yourself, it does require a bit of a science. So I'm just going to press pause for a second here because I actually want to show the slides for Search Marketing Expo. So, I mean, he goes into more detail than I have, but definitely here's a link. Have a look at it. Hope you get some, golden nuggets from him. But as well, I would encourage everyone to spend some time in the next few weeks, if possible, go through some of the slide shared content that's coming up from the Search Marketing Expo that just happened. I believe it was over the weekend or a few days back. So take a look at that because there's a lot of things that are happening in the industry that you want to learn from. So it's a very useful tool. Excellent. Just wrapping up our webinar today. Kind of wanted to share again the promotion. A few more days left. If you're still looking for, easy way to provide a website to your clients and they on very limited budget, you can look at the template themes that we've been talking about. And if you have challenges, selling that and you don't know how to position it, feel free to reach out to anybody in the team because we do have some talking points that you can share with your prospects in regards to the benefits of template or theme-based design websites. Again, I know it's a bit of a shorter webinar. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Amalia, or Michelle. And yes, you know what? I forgot to take out the K2. K2 is no longer active. But thank you for joining us, and we look forward to being here next week. And hopefully, we'll have something exciting for everybody from the SEO team. From Amalia, Michelle, and myself, have yourself a great week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.